Moving on from question 11 of logical reasoning drill set number 11 over at lawhub.lsac.org, we've got question 12, the final question of this drill set. As always, we've got a highlighter tool ready to go, and we read the question stem first, ignoring the fact that it seems to be we've got two speakers before we look at anything. But 12 states, which one of the following, if true, most helps to justify the above application of the principle? So I basically need to strengthen the application based on the evidence of the principle. I don't want to treat this as a unique question style. I'm just going to apply my standard structure of evaluating an argument, and then I'm going to try to strengthen with the principle the application that functions as the conclusion. So we're going to read the principle first. It says, if a significant hardship is caused by obeying a subpoena, a court order to present evidence, the court should nullify the subpoena unless the party on whose behalf the subpoena was issued convinces the court that evidence relevant to its case could be acquired only through that subpoena. That's basically the evidence. Don't want to highlight my evidence, and I generally never highlight my evidence, so I don't want to do it any differently here. Then application, when a professional writer was ordered by subpoena to release an unpublished article to the court nullified the subpoena because it was convinced that the article would be published before the trial date, thereby becoming available to everyone. So the conclusion is that the court should nullify the subpoena. And it's because it's going to become available to everyone. So based on the principle, we need to show that the court was justified in nullifying the subpoena because the evidence relevant to the case doesn't have to be acquired through the subpoena because it's going to be released before the trial date, and we are going to have a significant hardship caused by obeying the subpoena for this writer. So that's just what we've got as our mental prediction. We need to show that the court was justified in nullifying the subpoena because there was going to be significant hardship and the evidence was going to be released before the trial date anyway, without the subpoena. So starting with choice A with our highlighter tool ready to mark reasons to eliminate, A states the party on whose behalf the subpoena was issued was a source of some of the information found in the unpublished article. Well, source of some of the information, and the party on whose behalf the subpoena was issued. Do we even, I mean, it's the court, I guess, but wouldn't it actually be the person in court who required the evidence, the prosecution, or theoretically, or maybe even the defense? The party whose behalf the subpoena was issued. I mean, again, I don't even know who that party is necessarily here. So choice A is going to need a whole bunch of additional information. Furthermore, a source of some of the information. How much of the information? I have no idea. There's a bunch of things that need additional information, are vague in choice A. It's not relating to the principle in any meaningful way either. So goodbye to A, hopefully for a number of reasons. Then choice B, the writer has no information relevant to the case other than what is contained in the article. Well, information relevant to the case outside of the article, I mean, we don't care about like other things, like it being, I don't know, a television news story that's relevant. Got a whole bunch of additional information needed about this other information outside of the article to relate B to the principle in any meaningful way as well. So goodbye to it as needing additional information too. Then choice C, the article would no longer be publishable if it were revealed to the court. Well, an article not being publishable would be bad for a writer, so that explains the significant hardship, and we already know that the court would be able to get the evidence without the subpoena. So C absolutely matches the application that the court should nullify the subpoena because the evidence is going to be acquired outside of the subpoena, and the subpoena was going to cause a hardship for the writer because it wouldn't be a publishable article anymore. So C absolutely matches the information that we needed to strengthen that decision of the court to nullify the subpoena, as basically turning this principle application question into a more normal argumentative question task structure. Then choice D, several revelations in the article are clearly relevant to the case in question. Well, if anything, maybe I want the subpoena then. So D is kind of a task reversal that doesn't explain why the court would nullify the subpoena. And then choice E, the writer and two magazine editors are the only people who have full knowledge of the article's contents. Two magazine editors. What do they have to do with anything? I mean, does that mean we want the subpoena or not? Or can I subpoena the magazine editors? I have a whole lot of questions that come in with the two magazine editors. Need a bunch of additional information to relate them to the nullification decision specifically. And of course, the correct answer is C. And you can see, once again, if you encounter a question task that is a little bit unique, instead of trying to create a brand new process, apply one of our just standard argumentative or inference evaluation processes to make the unique fit into one of our more categorically consistent approaches, and you can take on a question such as number 12 a little bit more confidently, knowing that it really functions the same way as most of the other argumentative task questions do on the LSAT logical reasoning section.